All right, so for any of you who want to know how Zeekrux came to be, here's a video showing in a very fast pace. I only got a few bits here and there of me working on him. It's a little tough to get him recorded, but you see here me working on the face. I had actually, because of the size of the head, I had actually pre-cooked part of it. And so now I'm kind of giving it a better shape. So I just kind of gave myself something to, so I'd have a solid surface to work with so it wouldn't move on me so much or move while I was cooking with a large amount of clay there. But in retrospect, I also probably used a little too much clay. His head is oh so heavy and had a little trouble through the TSA scanners also because of it being so thick. So you saw him there pre-teeth and post-teeth. So the teeth I actually create separately and add in later. I'm starting to get him painted. So because of the way I did the teeth and I wanted to paint the inside of his mouth, I actually cooked his upper head and his lower jaw separately. That way I could go ahead and paint it and wouldn't have to do as much as what you see right here, but that was me just, I had to, get it all connected together. Once I connected it together, I just had to do some touch-up paint. So now comes to the addition of his fur. Oh, and my way on the paint, I actually was mixing, as you saw there with the white stuff, that's actually a polymer clay, like a liquid polymer clay that I added a little bit of paint to for the color. It kind of gave this really cool, like matte texture, which I really loved for him. But I'm just gluing down little bits at a time of the fur. You see, I'm just cutting it off a chunk of faux fur, and I take off the little bits at the bottom. So once you cut it off, they have it a little extra thick at the base. So I take that off because it just becomes an absolute mess. So just one line at a time, little bit like laying a beard, little pieces, little pieces. So as you can imagine, it takes quite a while. And now just finishing up his bottom jaw again, just one layer at a time, working towards the edges, because it's much easier to lay the fur on top than to get underneath it, because then you're just going to end up with a really gooey mess. For this, I like more of like a silicone-based glue. I don't like to have a glue that's like crazy glue or something where it leaves all that hard and like the kind of makes everything white. It just I'm not a big fan of the crazy glue with what it leaves, but I like E6000. This one's like a B7000 something I got on Amazon. Very similar, really good for this kind of thing. I'm just adding some color. You see those little blue bits? It's actually a, not iridescent. I'm completely blanking on the name of the stuff, but it's from this little piggy. It's called Velvet. It's like one of my favorite mica powders. So just mixed that with a little bit of paint and popped it in there. I'm trying out his ears, his body. So you can see his little skeleton here, the little tail sticking out of the back. Got his hands and feet all connected. And I'm just wrapping some cotton there for his body. Feeling all nice and plush. Most of my creatures are actually all clay. They're air dry clay. But for him, because I wanted him to be able to be posable, I created that skeleton. And now I'm just trying to figure out, I wanted a different color fabric for his chest and abdomen. So just fitting that to him, seeing where it's going to fit. So it's hard to kind of see, but I'm using a piece of chalk to mark the shape that I want to cut it in. And then once I cut that, you see with the X-Acto knife, you're going to want to use something like an X-Acto knife or something to cut from the back. If you just use scissors and just go for it, you're going to end up cutting a lot of the tips of your fur, and it's just going to have this weird edge, which you don't want. So all the little pieces put together. You see his little toothless little guy right there, but he can stand on his own. That's his little doll. It's almost done. Yep, and there's the eyes. His little backpack. So that's his little terrarium. And now he's just hanging out with my mom, my sister, and I, helping us play Uno and drink. We had a lot of fun with him. He came to visit my parents. Met the dog. She loved him. And visiting the Lick Observatory with a beautiful sunset there. But anyway, that is the making of Zeekrux. Hope you enjoyed.